And we had this secretary that we had to fire. And so we started looking around. I think Nancy, what was the last name? Hawkins said, you gotta talk to Barbara Milligan. You need to talk to her, and you need to hire her. And we talked to her, and we looked at each other, and we said, hire Barbara? We don't want to hire Barbara. But we decided to hire her. It was the best thing we ever did. And so we worked together for many, many, many years. And Rick and I have done a lot of things together. And I think it was Kelly or somebody asked me to come up with some sort of an anecdote about our years together. And I thought about 2 or 3 of them, but I can't share them and mix them. I can't share them, Rick, I'm sorry. They were really great, but I can't share them. And Julie's over there, and she worked with us for many, many years. We love Julie. And, you know, Rick, the best thing about retirement is that you don't have to go to work anymore. That's the best thing about it. And so I can't think of any stories except some of the Danny Dixon stories, Barney Rubble. But, you know, Rick and I, we fought about stuff. We worked together and we loved each other. And it was just a great environment over there in the public defender's office when you were kind of sort of leading the office, you know. And I'm glad you are retired, Rick. It's going to be great. We're going to have a whole new adventure, and everything's going to be good for you and Chris Elizabeth for too. So congratulations, man.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Steve Thompson. There was an epic journey to the mountain for you coming here to this wonderful occasion to see Rick retire. Yes, I know. I apologize. Yes, you can. Good. All right. Rick Meyer is the first trisexual lawyer I know. He's in civil practice. He goes to the public defender. He goes back to the DA, then back to the public defender. So, fortunately now he's completely hetero. So, I moved here a long time ago from San Francisco to Haight-Ashbury, suffered culture shock, which I still do, even this age of time. So I dredged up some stuff that Mr. Meyer said in the year 2000, which is monumental.
Where you have to shave your nose.
I wonder if sometimes if the public appreciates that defending the rights of people charged with crimes, we are as defense lawyers not only representing the individual client, but on a broader scale, we are fighting for the preservation of individual rights and the freedoms of law-abiding citizens. History has taught us that while common criminals compose a danger to society, a government that steps on us or ignores our individual rights will do much greater damage. I think our work is... Probably doesn't believe it anymore, but that's the way it is. Congratulations on your retirement. And I have a lot of other stories, but I can't tell here.
So many stories I can't.
Of course.
Feel kind of weird following that.
It's kind of weird. You have to hold this.
Feel like Daniel in the Lion's Den, given I am a police officer. But I got to tell you, Rick is kind of part of my family. I'm part of the Bolivian constituency back there. Bolivia in the house. Woo! I consider myself Bolivian. I'm lucky enough to have married into that. But when I entered into law enforcement, I had this big-time do-gooder type mentality, and I still do. I do see the value that I can provide for public safety for everybody. But meeting Rick and getting to know him really has demonstrated for me personally the value that what that gentleman just read to all of us has such tremendous meaning for me that it really is about the humanity of everything, and that people like Rick are responsible for protecting all of us, because not everybody does the right thing. Not everybody cares enough to do their job well enough, and they don't mind sidestepping the rules a little bit, because they think individually that what they're doing somehow is just a greater good. But it's more important, I think, to play by the rules. You have to do things the right way. And we should all be thankful that somebody like Rick cares enough to be that champion for the underdog, somebody who can afford to hire the best, the ones that are certainly like that. But when I say the best, see, you all did that. You all said the best for you is the guy that goes out and makes the most money because he can get people off, right? Right? Yeah, no. Well, I'm still working it. But see, for me, the best is somebody that, he could have done that. He could have done that. Because he is that good. But for me, it goes so much more beyond that good, because you care more, I think, this is just my interpretation of you, Rick, is that you care more about the humanity of people. And that really is what it's all about. If I can't afford to hire some unscrupulous person that is going to just partake in character assassination or whatever, I'd rather hire somebody who truly cared about me as a person. And you've shown me nothing throughout my knowledge of you and knowing you that that's what you are. You've been my family's champion, from a young woman who parked her car in a parking lot that had a big sign there. And I know Tahoe's a small community. I hope that guy's not here while I verbally bash you. But he puts a sign up in his parking lot that says, if you park here, I'm going to put a boot on your car and charge you $200 to take it off. And a little girl, the young woman that parked there, because she had to go to a class across the street in CPR to work on getting her teacher credentials. And, the guy comes out and puts a boot on her car and charges her $200 to take it off. I mean, you can't do that. I mean, you could have had a toad, but you can't do that. I mean, what's to stop him from charging her $1,000 to take it off? So she exercised her right. She sued him in small claims court, and she won. But why did she win? Because she had help. She had an army of people behind her, and some of that army was Rick, with his advice and his help. So you're a good man. You're a champion for this legal system, and this whole system. And there's probably a lot of attorneys here, but this whole legal system is predicated on a belief that everybody is just innocent until proven guilty, and they're all entitled to somebody to aggressively defend their rights. And I so champion that. And it's just I'll leave you with this, that it's not within us individually to command respect or admiration, but you've done more than that, Rick. You've deserved it, and for that I thank you.
Hey, Rick, while you're hugging this gentleman, all I can say is all he said was a bunch of lies. Come on, we know that, right? So, some of you may have been at my retirement party a few years ago. And,
By order of the court.
yeah. And I received a letter from an inmate. It's a private joke. But anyway, Rick, I just want to say, you know, many years ago I gave you some good advice. Right? And you put money into a 401 and 457 plan, right? Now pay that. I want your account number so I can get some money out of it. I just want to say to you, Rick, you know, we first met when we were in the DA's office. And like Steve says, you then went over to the other side.
Dark side.
The side that wants to follow the rules, wants to have the trial, you know, wants to screw up the judicial system. And then when you rule it, even if in their favor, they still appeal it. So it's okay. But you were a wonderful attorney, great guy to work